All right, so the second to last paper two question would be the evaluate the importance of ritual within the Buddhist monastic life. So when you're looking at this, you should make mention that yeah, ritual is an important part of monastic life, but it's not the only component. On the basis of this, you should probably evaluate how important ritual actually is within monastic life. You could indicate that from some monastic orders, meditation is more significant than rituals. Um, to elaborate, you can go on Buddhist monks and nuns. You could mention that how they take part in rituals that are restricted to the monastic community, and also rituals that involve lay people. The ones that are restricted to the monastic community, entering a monastery, reciting the rule of discipline, the communal chanting of texts. The latter, involving lay people, would include leading lay people in the chanting of the refuge, leading lay people in the chanting of the five precepts, preaching to the lay people, the Pirate ceremony, through which texts are chanted to bring blessings to lay people, funeral ceremonies, the transferring of merit to those who have died, um, the Kathina ceremony, where lay people offer new robes to monks at the end of the rains retreat. You could also talk about how monastic life also involves the practice of meditation, the study of Buddhist texts, learning to live harmoniously as a community of monks and nuns, receiving food from lay people, sometimes participating in alms rounds, ordinary practices on the daily, such as sweeping the compound, gardening, washing clothes. You could mention the fact that some monks and nuns also are involved with social work. Particularly in situations where lay people are poor or affected by war. You could also give credit if you show that you're aware that the Buddha did not form his orders of monks and nuns for the purpose of ritual. The Sangha were formed to offer men and later women the chance to practice meditation diligently and to reach nirvana more quickly. It was as Buddhism attracted more and more people and became more institutionalized that these rituals arose. So the last question here, compare and contrast the composition and compilation of the Theravada and Mahayana sacred text. So with this, you should cite both similarities and differences between the composition and compilation of the Theravada and Mahayana sacred text. You should probably demonstrate an ability to compare and contrast these, obviously. Um, if you only do one or the other, you can only your score is going to be limited as far as how many marks you can get. So it's really important to answer all parts of the question. So some comparisons: both Theravada and Mahayana sacred texts are considered by believers to be the word of the Buddha. Both show the Buddha teaching his followers in different contexts. Both give teachings that relate to the Noble Eightfold Path and the three marks of existence. Both were compiled by monks. Both are internally diverse in terms of their form. For example, both contain narratives, poetry, and philosophy. Both speak of different planes into which the human can be born, including heavens and hells. The contrast part, the Theravada texts were eventually compiled by monks into a fixed canon of texts called the Tipitaka, with the three baskets. This contains the Vinaya Pitaka, the Sutta Pitaka, and the Abhid Dhamma Pitaka. Um, in contrast, Mahayana texts were not formed into a fixed canon. Mahayana texts are more numerous, they're more diverse. They include the Prajna Paramita literature, the Diamond Heart Sutras, and the Lotus Sutra, which you guys were familiar with from your theme 2 assignment. Let's see here. The Theravada texts were transmitted and eventually written down in the Pali language. The Mahayana texts were really originally written in Sanskrit, and then they were translated into Tibetan and Chinese as Buddhism spread into these countries. Some can only be now accessed now in their Tibetan or Chinese forms. So another way they're different is most of the Theravada texts concentrate on the historical Buddha, Gautama. The Mahayana texts recognize many other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then historically speaking, the Theravada text can be traced back to the Buddha through oral transmission. The Mahayana text emerged after the historical Buddha had died. So there you have it. There are some examples of the paper 2 type questions that you could be asked for Buddhism. And some of the ways that you could answer it. And on the mark scheme, they always say, uh, accept any other relevant answer. And so, you're not limited to the answers that I've given you. These were just some suggestions and some tips as far as how to frame and definitely how to approach these questions. All right, thanks.